Alabama is arguably one of the best fishing states in the nation for bass. I mean, people talk about it all the time, about how great it is. When you look at Pickwick and you look at Wilson, they're so uniquely different, but they're just phenomenal fisheries. And being a guy that primarily likes to fish mostly shallow, you know, 10 feet or less, I'm probably drawn more to Wilson because you've got a lot of emergent vegetation growing around. You've got a lot of docks, you've got shallow shoals that drop off and little ridges, and this is just kind of the way I like to fish. Clark and I get a chance to fish together several times a year, whether it's red fishing or bass fishing in Texas, but he was in town to help us with the Cabela's Collegiate Bass Fishing Series, and we had a morning free. And it didn't take any twisting of Clark's arm for him and I to jump in the boat and go hit Wilson. And he is just coming off of a tournament over there, so he even kind of had some stretches he really felt like we could do some damage on.
There's a fish.
There's a bass.
Not a bad fish.
Good one right there. Little topwater action.
That's
There's your sign. When we saw the other one, both of us didn't take any time to grab the topwater, didn't we?
That's exactly right. I mean, that's why we start early in the morning a lot of times, is to catch one on topwater.
Oh,
that's a good chunky fish.
It is. I like it. No complaints to start there. Something about a topwater bite that just never ever gets old.
You know, one thing about it is when you're thinking about, you know, putting your boat in the water early in the morning, you just don't really have any idea. We both like starting shallow, so we're going to start shallow, but then, you know, the sky's the limit. The grass is thick now.
Was it not this thick the other day?
Well, it just, you know, it just wasn't quite as far along maybe or something. You know, I call this stuff water willow. You know, basically what it is it actually comes up out of the water. It looks like the, you know, willow leaves, grows in 3 to 5 feet of water, holds lots of bait. You know, there's going to be brim in it, there can be shad in it. And what we're doing is actually going along flipping it. You can top water it, you can throw a swim jig in it. There's a lot of different ways you can fish it.
Little bitty guys. That's awesome to see though. Aggressive. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, at least I caught one.
Captured one.
I actually caught one. I've been watching you catch them up till now. Not a great big one, but pretty fish. Healthy fish.
You've gotten a little heavier weight, you know, punching into this, which is really what I need to be doing. I'm not penetrating, and you're being able to make those pitches into that thicker cover.
Yeah, and one thing I think happens, you know, I mean, we're out here today, there's not, you know, there's no breeze, there's no nothing. You can kind of tell everything's kind of stagnant. You don't feel like they're going to be up, you know, we're going to catch a lot of fish on moving baits. We've noticed that right off the bat. You know, you kind of started flipping right off the bat. Well, what I think now is that I need something that'll sink down there fast to get a reaction bite. And so, you know, we'll see if it works. There's a lot of different ways you can attack this. You know, you could fish something like a Strike King Ocho around the outside of it, something that falls really slow. You can get a bait right up in the middle of it, something that falls fast. When you're fishing in the middle of it, you've got to have a heavier weight. Now, you need something like a 5/16 ounce weight to actually get down in that, but actually what we're throwing is more like a 1/2 ounce weight. What we want is a fast fall. You get a really fast fall, and sometimes you'll get that reaction bite. That's what we're looking for.